promise you, Paul, nobody at NASA thinks the Stonehenge stones came from the moon. They came from Wales. I don't know how you've got that confused.
Then how come they line up with the moon?
They line up with the sun. They line with the sunset on the solstice.
Moon, sun, it's all still space. That's what the source men were doing there, right? They built the stones in ancient times, then they came back again in 62 to just kind of check up on us, see how we're doing, like an old MySpace page.
See, it is certainly conceivable that there could be a connection between the cosmic alignment of the stones and the visitation witnessed there by Major Filer.
It is certainly conceivable that Filer's talking shit.
Jen, I thought we agreed to keep the language family accessible on here.
Stonehenge isn't in the desert, Nath. It's a short drive outside Andover. Filer says the fastest jets of his time chased after the saucers in 62, so they couldn't catch them. Oh, where's the sonic boom?
What was the aliens' engines?
It's not about the engine, moron. Anything of any mass breaks the sound barrier in the air, and the resulting sonic boom can be heard from the ground for about 40 miles. Nobody reported hearing shit.
I mean, again with the swearing, but I guess you've got a point.
Well, the aliens had silencers.
That block certain sound waves over many miles without causing any other discernible audio interference. That is physically impossible.
Physics mean nothing in space, Jen.
You really are an idiot, aren't you? Fighter pilots like Filer experience G-force. High levels of G-force cause hallucinations. Well-known fact.
Nath, she's ruining it again.
Don't be such a baby. I'm just keeping an open mind. We were supposed to be serious investigators on here.
And on that note, I think it's time we went over to the post bag. And as regular viewers will know, this is the part of the show where we open up our investigative expertise to analyse your mysterious images sent to us from all across the globe. And this week, we have received absolutely loads and loads of messages.
We have 3.
Okay, well, 3. We've had 3 messages sent in. This first one actually comes to us from Swindon, right here in the UK. It appears to depict the classic triptych formation of 3 unexplained lights, scouting from an unseen mothership perhaps, all very intriguing. Only one thing I have noticed though is that if you were to zoom in on this light here, you can make out what a quick Google reverse image search reveals to be the logo for Eden Cottage, one of Swindon's premier independent kebab shops, pictured here presumably reflected in a puddle. So thanks very much for sending that one in, but maybe next time don't. This second picture actually comes from Swindon as well, and it shows, well, that's just a pelican crossing, isn't it? I'm not sure what needs investigating about that. I still have one more image to share with you, though, from an unknown location. That one is... It's a dick pic. Thank you again for your engagement, correspondent, but once more, this really isn't the place. Okay, so guys, any insights at all on this week's postbag?
Nath, no one's watching.
Right. Well, it's still worth closing out the show for those watching the recording on the website.
Nobody does that either.
Nath, are you sure we should keep doing this? I mean, my mum says I should be applying for real jobs.
Why aren't you anyway? This takes 1 hour Wikipedia prep max. You don't even do that.
Yeah, well, it's just that I've been thinking lately. I mean, what if we're wrong about this? What if we are just all alone out there?
In the infinite expanse of space? No. I don't think that's logical.
But if UFOs...
Unexplained
aerial phenomena.
Yeah, if they were really properly real, wouldn't more people watch us on here? I mean, we wouldn't even have to do it on here. We'd have our own TV program with Ant and Dec.
Not if there was a cover-up.
Yeah, Ant and Dec wouldn't have the balls.
But why would anyone cover it up? I mean, UFOs...
Unexplained aerial phenomena.
Yeah, they're really cool.
See, I do have something of a long answer for that. It's a bit off topic though
What's
for an
about what the episode's about, Nath? Otherwise, someone would be watching. You go ahead. Let's do a big idea.
Okay, so you guys know about zoo theory, right? That's the idea that any civilization advanced enough to know that we exist must also be advanced enough to know that they probably don't have very much to gain from coming over here and messing with us too much. In fact, they probably like us best the way we are, unmessed with, uniquely primitive to them.
I don't get it.
It's like when TV crews stumble upon uncontacted tribes in the Amazon. I mean, that still happens. And when it does, the TV crews don't just land and say hi. They stay well away because otherwise those tribes aren't going to remain uncontacted for very long.
So to them, we're like an endangered tribe.
Yeah. I mean, consider that advanced civilizations probably have laws that govern their societies, right? Maybe even interplanetary relations. So what if the Earth is protected under their laws, like a reservation with humans as an endangered species?
Then how can people see sources?
See, that's the thing that I've been working on. Jen, if the government were tomorrow to suddenly outlaw what we do, to decide that all investigation of unexplained aerial phenomena was meddling and illegal, do you think you'd still do it?
Hell yeah.
How come?
Well, because fuck those guys. And I don't know, I guess curiosity.
So what if the UAP we do see are trespassers on Earth, breaking their own laws simply by being here, but compelled to do so anyway out of curiosity? See, that would explain why their own technology is so much more advanced than us, and yet they've never either invaded or introduced themselves.
You're saying they're scared of being discovered here, just not by us.
It wouldn't make any sense for them to be scared of us if their own technology is more advanced. See, I think they're worried about being spotted by their own societies, watching from afar, so they tread softly here.
What about abducting people? That's hardly treading softly.
Isn't it? I mean, consider that any malicious race with the capacity for interstellar travel is hardly going to need to learn about humans by picking up random hitchhikers one by one, when they could just as easily kill us all and study our corpses. But they don't do that. Instead, they carefully select only limited samples taken from remote locations and always returned alive with scrambled memories. I think it's like they're desperate to minimize their impact here.
My cousin Isaac says he got abducted by aliens. He told the DVLA that's how he wrecked his car.
So where does the cover-up come into it?
Remember that these trespassers are not themselves the great civilizations they came from. By comparison, they are enthusiastic amateurs, and sometimes amateurs screw up. Times like Roswell, Del Rio, down the Gorsk, and who knows how many other unreported crash sites besides. When that happens, who is it on Earth that gets to pick through the wreckage, to interview survivors still desperate to keep their presence here a secret? Well, it's the Earth elites, isn't it? The Army High Command, the military-industrial complex, the intelligence services. When guys like that come across a secret that somebody else needs to keep, what is it they do? By pure professional habit, they try to exploit it. I mean, the value they could extract from a scenario like that, from secret intelligence to reverse engineering tech, it's really limitless. In exchange, I think they help to hide the Sorcerman's presence here, deny their existence before this world and every other.
So they feed us stories about weather balloons and stealth plane tests. They need to keep us ignorant to keep up their end of the bargain.
Whether it was a formal deal they struck or just a marriage of convenience, you have to admit that the motivations check out.
So aliens know that we exist, but the Earth's officially off limits to them. But sourcemen come here anyway in secret because they're curious about us. And our governments know about it, but they don't want everyone else to know about it, because then the sourceman would know that we know about it, and then the sourceman would tell the government that they know, and then our government would know that we can't get to know anymore about the aliens, and so the governments don't want us to know, because if that happens, then they'd miss out on all the sourcemen's technology that they know about.
Wow. You know you got your point across when even Paul gets it.
But why did they smash up Isaac's car?
Paul, maybe that was just an accident.
Yeah, you're probably right. Source people probably crashed into the car by accident.
Don't think that's what he meant.
Maybe we'll discuss the whole Isaac thing on a future episode. Next week, though, we are going to be discussing the Belgian sightings wave of the early 90s. Will you both be joining me for that one?
I'm no.
Come on, Paul. It will pick up. I know it will.
Fine, I'll see what's my
Yeah.
calendar.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it for this week then, folks. Until next time, keep watching the skies.
Nath, need to end the meeting if you're the host. Fund, Paul, not force. Why would they call the World Wildlife Force?
To make it sound badass, to scare off poachers. That's why they've got a giant bear on the logo.
Is it a bear?
It's a panda. They're really chill. There's no way I'm letting you call a theoretical intergalactic organization in charge of conserving protected planets Space Force. It doesn't sound like what it does. It sounds dumb.
If we're still deciding on names, can we talk about this whole Nathan hypothesis label?
Nathan Hypothesis is trending on Twitter. You can't change it now.
Hey, Jen, do you remember when you said no one would watch last week? Well, now over 60,000 people have seen you be wrong. Ha!
Well, I didn't know you were going to post about it on Reddit. I didn't know you could type.
I still can't believe it's blown up like it has. I mean, it was only a theory. There's no new evidence there.
Evidence can be debated for decades. You can prove scientific incidents even when they turn out to be faked, and disprove them when they're probably true. And that's tiring, believe me. A theory, though, doesn't need to be comprehensively proven before it gains traction. Relativity was only a theory once, evolution too. For a theory to be successful, people only need to acknowledge the logic of the thing. And once that happens, it resonates and people want to build on it.
That's why they're all talking about Space Force on the social media.
Jesus Christ, are they really?
Martian Lover 69 says that Space Force must have built a force field from Earth around it to protect it from invasion fleets. That's why sources are virtually never seen in groups larger than 3 or 4.
Storm Area 51 now has been doing some really interesting research on periods in human history when the non-compliance with the protection order could have brought about a clampdown by Space Force. He cites incidences such as the technological decline between the Middle and the New Kingdoms of ancient Egypt.
Yeah, and we've had loads of interesting messages too about the kind of Earth technologies that could have arisen out from the Secret Covenant. Inventions which were unprecedented and little understood at the time of emergence.
What's the Secret Covenant?
It's the deal between the elites and the trespassing sorcemen. If Paul's making up names, I don't see why I can't.
Did you know that nobody actually knows how memory foam works? I mean, you lie on it and it's soft and comfy, but then when you get off it, it remembers its own shape afterwards.
Well, I was going to talk about fiber optic cables and laser projectors and Indian chips, but sure, memory foam's in here too.
Have you seen all these abduction accounts? Well, there's Tyler from Melbourne, Adira from Mumbai, and Lavrenti from Volgograd. They all distinctly remember references to a Space Force, Conservation Federation, or Intergalactic Park Ranger Service during their respective abduction experiences.
Why would the sorcerman tell them about it?
Given that anybody remembers their abduction at all, I think we can probably assume that the sorcerman placed too much faith in their memory wipers. Kia from Toronto, for instance, recalls the moment the mothership that she had been taken to was forced to switch off all its power so to avoid detection by Space Force. She describes in some detail, actually, the anxious silent seconds hanging motionless in space. as every being on board bated its breath in the darkness while the great honking patrol vessel floated slowly past.
Yeah, that's the first episode of Firefly.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't happen to Kia, too.
Oh, Nate, there's a journalist in here who wants to interview you.
Interview me? Where from? Cosmos? Airspace magazine?
It's the BB fucking C. They want to do a website piece under the headline UK vlogger goes viral with plausible new theory about UFOs.
Unexplained aerial phenomena. Do you think I can get them to change that?
Does this mean we're mainstream now? Hey!
Sure does. Nath, just make sure you talk about merch during the interview, okay?
What merch?
I'll make some shit. We've got to monetize this somehow.
Yeah, we'd start our own Patreon page or run a Kickstarter campaign.
We could fund a mission to the moon and Mars. Elon Musk, eat your heart out.
Who's that? Nathan, is someone knocking at your door?
Who would do that? Nobody ever calls on you.
I don't know. I didn't order anything.
Maybe they've got the wrong house. I think you'd better get it anyway.
I'm broadcasting.
We'll keep it running. You go. Paul, are you on your phone?
Yeah, Isaac just texted. He says he definitely remembers the aliens telling him that they invented memory foam.
Isaac's an alcoholic. Do you ever think that might be how he crashed this car?
No, that was all part of the cover-up. The DVLA all part of the government.
Jesus, I can't do this. Nath, are you done yet?
Hey, Jen, when all this is over, do you want to get a drink sometime?
What, the three of us?
No, just us.
Yeah, all right then.
Yeah? Cool. And that's when the aliens told Isaac that they weren't going to wipe his memory like all the others just because, he was a really sound guy. And that they were really sorry about the car, but they couldn't help fix it because of, the Earth being under a protected reservation thing and stuff.
I can't believe I agreed to this. Aren't there any proper abductions stories we can talk about?
Well, Nathan used to pick the topics. Since he left, I guess they kind of dried up.
Anything in the post bag?
Not much recently. There's still a backlog again from when Nathan left.
Would you stop saying that? He didn't leave, he just went away and didn't come back.
Yeah, it makes it sound like he left.
We still don't know what happened that day, all right? There could be some other explanation.
Well, King Kenny on Twitter says that Nathan was a CIA stooge sent to divert attention from what's really going on.
And what's really going on?
5G masks are spreading coronavirus and controlling our minds?
For God's sake, just call him, will you?
Why? We do this every time, Jen. We call him and he doesn't answer. He doesn't want to speak to us anymore.
Just do it, and then we'll finish the episode about your cousin's bloody car crash.
It wasn't a car crash.
Shut up. Nathan, finally, what the fuck?
Hey, mate.
Look, guys, you really need to stop calling me.
Not until you tell us what's going on with you. Where have you been? How come you don't want to do this anymore?
Well, I just thought it was all a bit silly, wasn't it? I mean, flying saucers, really.
What are you talking about? You love the IBR-UAP.
I just decided that on the balance of evidence, UFOs, that they're not really anything. And if they were something, then I'm sure that the proper authorities have it in hand. We were only meddling before.
You are a CIA stooge. Who are you really? What is your real name? Is it Nathan? Listen, if you're undercover, then you have to tell us. That's the law.
So, where are you?
Actually, what's going on with your hair?
I moved. I live with my girlfriend now. She likes my hair like this.
Now that's crap. Nathan doesn't have a girlfriend. You couldn't. Is she in on it? Is she one of the CIA handlers or something?
I'm me. I just changed. People do. That whole Nathan hypothesis rubbish was the final straw for me. It was pure delusion and guesswork. There's nothing at all in it.
Well, there definitely isn't now. He just killed off the Nathan hypothesis, along with our last 3 viewers.
Nobody's watching.
Not a soul. Thanks a lot, mate.
If nobody's watching, maybe I can tell you guys the truth. I mean, maybe that's the least I owe you now.
Wait, so you are called Nathan?
Who was at your door that day, Nath? Did someone get you? Is that why you moved?
It was these 3 men. They wore dark suits and sunglasses and spoke with American accents. I never caught their names and they never showed any ID. But they told me things that day. Things I wish now that they never had. They told me the truth about flying saucers.
Fucking knew it. So what is it then? What's the truth?
Believe me, Jen. You're better off not knowing. I know I was.
We talked about this, remember, back on episode 1. We all swore that if any one of us ever learned the truth about UAPs, that we'd share it with each other, whatever the consequence, however scary it was.
That was before. Believe me, you don't want to do this.
Fuck that. We are independent, free-thinking adults. We made our choice. We made a pact. Paul, you're with me on this, right?
Too right. You promised us, Nath.
Are you sure nobody's watching?
Nobody. Now spit it out.
The truth is that the Nathan hypothesis wasn't far off. And that was the whole problem. The only part I got wrong was why the Earth elites keep the Sorcerermen a secret. It isn't because they're harvesting their technology.
But what is it? Why would it matter to them if everyone knew?
If Space Force ever discover that the protection order they placed on the Earth has been violated, then they'll simply rescind the order. The minute they do that, this planet is up for grabs. Every plundering band of pirates and space Nazis for 100 star systems will descend on this corner of the universe and strip the surface of our planet bare. They'll exterminate all life here and mine the Earth's empty shell for resources. The truth is, if we ever stop being primitive and interesting to the advanced civilizations out there, then we're all dead. That's why we can't ever... No. Somebody was watching. How could somebody have been watching?
Hang on a sec. I think someone's at my door.
Paul, you idiot! Don't! No, guys, we should stay put. We can send for help. We can.